It's in the game.
It's the last day of the official pre-season to the 2025-6 football season, and of course we are at the traditional events. First up is the Community Shield, contested between Liverpool and Crystal Palace. Good afternoon, welcome to probably the last official day of pre-season, and 1 week before it all begins again, we have two final pre-season trophies that to be handed out, and the first of two today is the Community Shield, part of the English domestic fixture, as of course it is the league leaders from last season, Liverpool, and the FA Cup winners, Crystal Palace. By no means an underdog, but against this pretty much stacked Liverpool team, you probably could be forgiven for this a bit of a David versus Goliath story. Both teams coming here with very different sides. On the Liverpool side, of course, we could be seeing the most anticipated debut of a record signing, Alexander Isak. Now, as you can see, he doesn't make the bench there, or at least these numbers that I'm looking at right now. But apparently he is on the bench. I don't know if it is showing all the subs that are available today, but he is supposedly on there. So we'll be hopefully seeing him later to make his Liverpool debut. Another man that will be making his Liverpool debut on the starting lineup is Nketiah, as you can see at the end there. I believe he came from the Bundesliga, if my memory serves me. On the Crystal Palace side, they're going to be one player short. Because as you can see there, Emre Eze does not make the team. Supposedly, we are hearing he is Arsenal bound to join the superstar team that Mikel Arteta is building. And we all know one of the biggest pre-season stories from their camp is the signing of Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon. After a bit of a will he saga, he was, and he will join up. He's already joined up with the squad, but Eze is now supposedly on his way to the N5 to join Mikel Arteta's super team. Which was obviously one of the contenders last season, which Liverpool managed to get a hold of and take the hold of the league, should we say, and win outright on points this time around. Very much like the last time they did, of course. Well, that was City anyway. And I believe now, much begrudgingly from my point of view as a Manchester United supporter, that obviously I believe ties Liverpool, if not puts them ahead of the once great Manchester United now. How things have changed in the last 10 years since Ferguson's retirement. Liverpool are back on their perch, we could probably say, and it's all thanks to that man right there, Arne Slot. You have to really believe that he came from nowhere. I don't think anyone had really known of his exploits, maybe apart from Liverpool fans, and maybe some of us that did our research. I wasn't one of them. But seemingly, well, from my point of view, he came from nowhere, and yes, he did inherit a very good Liverpool squad at the time, and he has built on it since then, with obviously the signing of Nketiah, who starts up front today. I've probably pronounced his name wrong, and I'll probably do that with Sobolewski as well. But in any case, the Arne Slot era is well underway, not only with the signing of Nketiah, but also Alexander Isak. Pretty much a transfer record of £125 million. I think that is a new British record now. So Arne Slot continuing to mean business and not resting on his laurels. And that's certainly the case for banging in some goals. And maybe with Nketiah and Isak, you have to think that is immediate response to the signing of Victor Gyökeres that Mikel Arteta brought for Arsenal. So, and even though Eze isn't a striker as such, he can still get amongst the goals as well, as he proved last season. For Crystal Palace, they still maintain a very good squad here. Mark Gay has committed his future to the club. Jean-Malik Marteta is still there as well. So there is still a really couple of good players in here. Dean Henderson as well. No slouches. But you have to feel that over 90 minutes, you probably could guess on a normal day that maybe Liverpool will win out. But this is the Community Shield. It's no normal day. It's for a trophy right off the bat. Some argue, is it official, is it not? It most certainly is. I guess the teams that haven't won it yet would say it doesn't really matter. It's very much like the Daytona 500 sometimes. The people that haven't won it probably say sometimes they treat it just like any other race. But you haven't won it yet. It's very much different when you have. And that's very much the case here today for the Community Shield. And of course, later tonight, we have another bit of a David versus Goliath story as the Champions League winners Paris Saint-Germain will be taking on Tottenham Hotspur, Europa League winners in the UEFA Super Cup tonight from the Stadio Flimsley, I think it's called. I'm sorry if I butchered that pronunciation as well. Well, here's Safa Palace. All Palace can really do and hope to do successfully is very much defend, very much like that. Although Lekias, to be fair, may have committed a foul there. The referee has let it go. And here's Kirkes, who could be another Liverpool signing. He's not a name I remember from last season. And Nkeke almost getting in on the score sheet there. And it's just wide of Dean Henderson's post. So the FA Community Shield has been a part of the English domestic fixtures for as definitely as long as I can remember. It's probably been around maybe since the 90s, I would have guessed. I didn't really start getting into some form of football until maybe 1998 or 1999 by my earliest memories. And a certain David Beckham was a big reason for that. So, it is August right now, of course, and Wembley Stadium has an interesting fact to it. And I'm sure a lot of you music fans will know what I'm about to say here, but of course, Coldplay are arriving here next month. The British music band. Me and my missus will be attending, and let's just say she's been very much looking forward to it. In fact, that's probably an understatement, considering how big of a fan she is. So I think that goes without saying, quite frankly. Waiting a whole year. Funny story, when she applied a year ago, she was on the phone for 7 hours waiting for her ticket. It was very much worth it. Savitsky there with an early shot, and it's just wide of the post to get it. I think it was Kurikes. In fact, I was very close to going in, actually. That's a very good effort. Dean Henderson wouldn't have reached that. But of course, we're a month away from that, and today is Football Matters, as we are just 1 week away from the start of the 2025-26 football season. We'll be following Newcastle United this time around for this year, who have made their own stories with the obviously the selling of Alexander Isak for 125 million was probably the most dominating of all. Story-wise, there was a collision of players there. Van Sobolewski with the strike, but he was wide at the other side. And of course, Alexander Isak joining Liverpool. And that gave, well, big bank to Newcastle, really. And they've responded by making their own signings. James Trafford, Nick Valdemonde, Joshua Zirkzee, and Leonardo Bellardi, just to name a few. Of course, Malik Howe was there as well. Very versatile defender. And Newcastle could be in the market maybe for another midfielder as well. Some sources are reporting this morning that I think it's Guerra from Valencia they could be looking at. So watch this space on that one. And of course, Newcastle United, well, you may remember a couple of seasons ago that Eddie Howe was very adamant that Newcastle, and it was reports coming out that Newcastle were very much unable to spend for the most part. due to their close proximity to the PSR fair play rules. But it's safe to say that 125 million going into the club's bank has probably put them a bit away from that for a while. And they've taken advantage. But will it lead to any title challenges? That's a good pass there. Alisson's come out. And he's taken Schär with him. But I think he got the ball first. And that's fair game. Many people worried about Newcastle and the turnover in ownership and what it might bring in terms of fruition and possible wins for Newcastle United. As Nteke takes the shot, saved by Dean Henderson. It's not really worked out that way, but don't forget, Newcastle United are the current Carabao Cup holders from last season. Very much thanks to Alexander Isak that day in the final as well. They are where they will miss his goals, that's for sure. And that's why the likes of Vodemade and Xerxes, it's not one big signing up front, it's very small pieces, or smaller pieces, let's say. Yone Weasel as well, don't forget him from Brentford. But the loss of Isak means a loss of a lot of goals. And it's going to be very interesting to see how telling that is. Well, half an hour here today, it's still 0-0. And Palace have been defending valiantly as of now. Here's Kirkes. Cody Gakpo. And he's found Kirkes. He's kept running. And there he is with a strike. And it's 1-0 to Liverpool. Very much expectancy, I guess. Probably a bit of curse to the commentators. But it's Kirkes with the goal. The most unlikely of sources. Alexander Isak only making the bench so far. And then Nteke up front. Who but Kirkes to score? Well, it was a greatly timed run, to be fair. Gakpo put him out brilliantly. And it's a thunderous strike. But Dean Henderson, unfortunately, can't really do much about. Should he be saving that, do you think? It's straight at him, really. Maybe the force of a shot is kind of what had him behind before he was even stretching. And that just really proves how good of a strike it was. Well, Crystal Palace, like we said, probably don't come into this game as the underdogs in a sense. Because these are both champion or cup-winning teams. But on paper, very much is a bit of an underdog story here. But here comes Palace finally. And seems to be working them up. And Mateta almost getting through there. But it was Konate that stopped him. And now it seems that Palace are finally showing some signs of life here. Because it's been Liverpool all over them so far. Very much not against the run of play at all for Liverpool so far. They've had most of the ball, if not all of it. Finally, Palace trying to get a foothold here. But like I said, don't count them out just yet. Caster to Gakpo, that's wide open. That's a good save when Henderson with his leg. He looked to be going the wrong way. But his legs, or his leg there, good save. With the resulting corner, and Schär got there first ahead of Konate. That probably would have been a clear goal. And Schär has gone for it as well. Wonderfully played. There's Mateta. Mateta's gone past his man here. And here he comes into the box, and Frimpong has recovered. Well, question of maybe Alisson's final season, perhaps. He's been at Liverpool for quite some time, but still the number one in goal. Konate almost losing possession there. That could have been a very possible costly mistake, because we know how good Jean-Philippe Mateta is at scoring goals. He was one of the other players that Newcastle were looking at. Alongside Dean Henderson as well. And it was for saves like that as to why they went with youth in James Trafford instead. And for Newcastle, you can understand it. Many goalkeepers on their books before the kind of mass goalkeeper clear out, really, with 4 of their 5 goalkeepers being moved on. There was talk of maybe Aaron Ramsdale being a loan possibility from Southampton, but James Trafford was the man they kind of chose instead, and it could be a very vital choice. James Trafford has been making a name for himself at Burnley in all the right ways. So, for Newcastle, in the situation they're in, with a goalkeeper, Nick Pope, who's getting up there in age a bit, and many others that were probably approaching the same kind of scenario, James Trafford has brought the age of their goalkeepers down a bit. And there'll be a free kick there. And the referee's coming over, and it could be a possible booking. And it's for Kirkes, the goal scorer. What an irony that'll be if that is. It certainly is then. Referees seem to be a little bit lenient in this Community Shield game. Not really many rash challenges being put around, but I think that was probably rightly given, to be fair. Well, it's the end of the first half. It's been all Liverpool, really. You have to really admire Palace for just staying in it as long as they have. On another day, it might have been a cricket score considering Liverpool's power on paper, as it were. But right now, Palace have done very well to keep Liverpool out for the most part, considering they've had very little of the ball in the first half. And there goes the half-time whistle. And that pretty much is the game in a nutshell. It's been all the Premier League winners Liverpool all over the ball and all over this game. Palace are defending valiantly. Will it be a question of how many? It could be, but Palace came into the game late on a little bit. So it's not as clear-throat as we thought. But at the break, it's Liverpool 1, Palace 0. Welcome back to Wembley Stadium. We are here for the second half of the first pre-season game, or one of the last pre-season games, we should say, but definitely the first pre-season game of the day. The Community Shield being contested by league leaders, Premier League winners Liverpool, and FA Cup winners Crystal Palace, who are embroiled in their own kind of story when it comes to their participation in the Champions League, which I think has been kind of revoked at this point. They've been down to the Europa League for other reasons. I don't know whether it was league placing or something. I can't really remember. Because when you get outside the top four and you start winning other things, it kind of really confuses the whole Champions League matter for a while. So I just go with top four, and then I go with Europa League winners, and then that's it. Everything else can be sorted out by somebody else. Because I don't really know anything beyond then. So have them sort it. But if that is the case, that would be very harsh on Crystal Palace. The FA Cup can be a Champions League spot, depending on other matters. But it seems the Palace have been kind of took out of the equation for some reason. I guess it's because of the 4 different teams that are in the league. Could be another matter, because it was 4 different teams. Well, here for the second half, Palace just have to try and get on the ball, really. And that's why. Because it has been all Liverpool from the first half. Having all the ball, all the chances, really. Palace have shone in spots, but those spots have been very few and far between. It's been mostly defending for Palace right now. Arteta really hasn't had much of a look in, to be fair. Pino has come on for Palace in a substitution, as was Lerma in the midfield. That looked a good-looking ball, but well read there by Konate. Ekitike, I believe that's pronounced. I could be wrong about that, though. He's got off the bench. And Mitchell shoot, and it's straight at Henderson. Probably really forced into that, with Palace being very compact at the back, so to speak. Kirkes has only scored 1 goal. It's not been the expected, not whitewash, but certainly hasn't been all dominating in terms of the scoreboard. And that gives Palace every opportunity. And here is Sarr. He puts the ball in, and Frimpong clears it away. I think that was heading towards Pimo at the far post there. Ekitike. Here's McAllister. That's well done by Lerma. Good pressure there. Pressing seems to be the word of football in recent times. That was a good example of it. Schär, he's going to play for it to Mateta, but Alisson's going to get there first. Ever the great reader of the game and everything that develops. Rimpong. Palace starting to show a bit of life here. They've not been kind of not in the game by any means. It's just they haven't really had a chance to be in it with Liverpool's desire to keep the ball. And doing very good job of it also. Isak, a lot of pitch to run out here. Mateta's on his way, and Sar's going to pick him up with the ball over the top. He's found him, and it's a goal, and Mateta scores. And he levels the scoreline here. And they were the underdogs on paper, but this pass from Schär absolutely pickpocket, and Mateta doesn't miss. A wonderful goal and the first real chance that Palace have created right in the back of the net. Beautiful goal, and this game is back on. And Arne Slot does not look happy with that outcome. As well, he might not be. Will he turn to Alexander Isak in response? We'll have to wait and see on that one. Well, what is going to be Liverpool's response is the question now. Certainly need to be more clinical in front of goal. Liverpool had a couple of chances that maybe they should have scored. I think there was one from, I think it was Kirkes actually earlier before he scored. He actually had a good opportunity in the first half that went just wide of the post, and D. Henderson wouldn't have got there. And immediately it's happened. Ekitike goes off for the Liverpool debut of Alexander Isak. And very much as expected. Well, you can imagine that the reception he will get at St James's Park will be very hostile indeed, given the mess it's been. But this kind of thing happens in football all the time. Football can also be a business as well as a sport. A lot of people say it leans more towards the business side these days. I'd be very much inclined to agree with it, but it is what it is. And Newcastle have responded with the right pieces in the right places. The question now, which is very much going to be the same with Mikel Arteta, is will it finally give them something? Arteta, and now Palace are really getting into this game. That goal has given them a boost of confidence now. Szoboszlai's coming on for another debutant in, I believe it's Florian Wirtz. I think that's his name. In all the build-up to this game, I completely forgot to mention him, actually. And yeah, he tries a header, but I think it's rather against hope and expectation. Well, Jean-Philippe Mateta did, I think, confirm that he will be staying at Palace for the forthcoming year, at least. There's another one on Newcastle's books. Or at least on Newcastle's, maybe his, a short list if they have one. Because this man, well, he's left a gaping hole and plenty of goals to go with it. And Mateta will certainly get his over the course of the year. And now he's already started. Salah with that shot straight at Henderson. Richards has to clear him more hurried than that. Isak was swarming all over it. It's a poor pass out there to Gakpo. Great defending from Palace here. Very compact, just reading the game very well here. Schär. Palace using the wings a lot more in the second half. With McAllister, pretty much a player collision there. No foul given. Here is Wirtz. Gakpo immediately dealt with by Monzes. And Lacroix as well. When Palace do just string together a couple of passes, they string them really well, but they don't keep the ball. Liverpool really pressing hard. And very well at it, I might add. Go to Isak. Isak's got a lot to do from there, and Gueye immediately stops it, and that's why Palace were eager to keep him. And, oh, that's a silent tackle by Schär. That's going to be looked at by the referee. And, no card given for that. I probably looked at worse a challenge than what the Liverpool player was booked for earlier. Yeah, takes I think it's Salah completely out there. And not even a booking for that. It's, well, referees have a lot more kind of angles with VAR and such than we do. From up here. You've got to give Palace credit. They've really defended well to keep the score down. And against Liverpool, with all their new striking power this season, that is a very good effort indeed. Salah, Isak, look at all the space Isak has, and he scores, and Alexander Isak gets a debut goal for Liverpool. It was expected. That's what he brings. Alexander Isak made that goal out of nothing because Gueye was going one way and Henderson was going the other, and he beat both of them. Wonderfully done. And it wasn't Gueye, it was Lacroix, I think. This is a wonderful work goal. You might think Isak has a lot of space here, which he does, but he still has to put that in, and he did brilliantly. Well, Newcastle United fans very not happy with the situation, but Liverpool will be very much not really shedding any tears. They got their man in the end, and it's proven to be quite fruitful right now. This is only a pre-season game after all. Here's Schär, and here's Mateta. Oh, it's a good save from us. And a couple of substitutions warming up for Crystal Palace. Eze, not Ibritri Eze, of course. There's another one. Spells his name differently. And I think Eddie Nketiah is warming up there. He's probably going to be coming on for Mateta, as Flip Gleister will be probably wanting to get his best players off as quickly as possible. I mean, the game isn't over yet. Henry, and the referee has brought that back, and he's booked Emery for the challenge. In fact, it's Governbet, sorry. Emery was the person on the ball by the time that happened. It's a rash challenge for sure, but why wasn't Schär booked earlier would be the immediate question. Nketiah and Mateta, Nketiah for Mateta, and Schär has definitely come on, Eze has come on for, I believe, Schär as well. Good pass, Nketiah. Nketiah's immediately on the ball, former Arsenal man. Who's Isak? Gueye keeps Isak at bay there for a moment. You've got to give Palace every credit. They may lose the game, but they've certainly given Liverpool a game to date. Salah. And usually he buries those, so it's a good save from Henderson when you think about it. Wirtz. Isak. Two new Liverpool signings linking up well, but Lacroix does very well against Isak again. He deflects away the shot from Salah. And Lacroix deals with Salah in the box as well, and clean. Well, Palace have certainly given Liverpool a decent game today. They're going to eventually lose the game, but they've certainly done very well. It's a good save for Dean Henderson from Florian Wirtz there. And Mo Salah, no surprise, he's going off for Chelsea, I think it is. think he might be a new signing, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Verts with the cross in. Isak! Oh, it's a great save from Dean Henderson. Fantastic save. Liverpool starting to really rank up a gear now. They want to put this game beyond doubt. But Dean Henderson, a couple of splendid saves late on here. Over the looping corner. Isak brings it down. McAllister's found Isak again. And he can't shoot. Another great piece of defending from Palace. Gay to Monarchs. Liverpool and Palace maybe could conjure up a chance from here. Virgil van Dijk has cleared it off Nketiah. That's unfortunate. Isak. Macrox with another great tackle. It's a shame that Palace have to lose this one. They've done well. Very well. There's McAllister. And Liverpool just really can let the clock run out. And there it is. The full-time whistle. And very much the expected team won today for Liverpool. Goals from Kirkes and a new signing in Alexander Isak, which was pretty much expected, but boy did Palace give them a game today. It certainly was a fighting effort by Crystal Palace, but Liverpool did as Liverpool was expected to do. The Premier League winners from last season over the course of 38 games were a juggernaut really, and they're even more so now with the signings of Isak and then Nketiah in particular. But it was Isak that got the goal today. Mateta brought the game level to 1-1, and Palace fought very hard, but Liverpool did their expected jobs and duties today. So now for them it turns to their opening game of the season next week as it all begins again. We already at this point have one more game to cover later tonight with the Super Cup final. We hope you join us for Paris Saint-Germain against Tottenham Hotspur later tonight. But for this afternoon at least, Liverpool start maybe as they mean to go on. They are Community Shield winners today.